matter what the schedule is, I think we should start
With the budget?
with the budget,
Okay.
okay?
Well, first of all, thank you. I'm here physically today. Last time I think something was up, was there a doctor's appointment? But you were able to meet Michael Kane. He's doing very well, in my office. We just implemented a lot of changes since he started last November. He's kind of learning all the ropes of housing. And, I think he's doing a great job. So anyways, we have our upcoming budget, and I know we discussed the year end, you know, where our reserves are. I want to flip to page 3 of that budget, form 3 of 8.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the ANUEL, you hear me talk about the annual non-utility expense level. Last year, it increased substantial, and we went to $364,257, that's line number 2. This year, we got an additional 12% on top of that, and that brings us to $407,966. They also increased the amount of money that they're allowing for our maintenance of our air source heat pumps to $21,600. That was about a 50% increase over last year. One of the things that we had talked with Tammy about, and that is we're trying to really monitor closely what is the actual cost that we're paying for. So we created that separate account number for the maintenance to find out, because the air source heat pumps across the Commonwealth are becoming an issue. Now, one of the things that they did was down towards the east, they took the exemption out of our operating budget and they kept it, they made it into a separate line item through our capital improvement, the capital improvement plan. Which if they do, we would lose the money from our operating budget, but we would gain it in our capital budget for repairs and maintenance. They haven't clarified what that, you know, entails, whether or not it takes care of the replacement of the actual equipment. The other thing they did was increase our legal services exemption. I think $3,500 was last year, it's now $4,000, went up to like $500. And so our projected subsidy for the upcoming year is $225,268. That's calculated. And if you flip back down to page 1, you'll see that that's up as part of our revenue up on line account 3801, operating subsidy, $225,268. Other things that have incurred from budget guidelines, they increased the cost or the funding of tenant association organizations, which we haven't had, but I did provide that funding. It's a $50 per unit base fee, and that's why you see that under tenant organization.
What's the line number?
It says 4230 tenant organization.
Okay. There it is.
Okay. Also in the salaried area, which we'll flip on to page 4 of 8. There is the executive director is the calculation of that salary is based upon a schedule that they submit every year. That form is also probably part of your last 3 pages of the, Tammy did give it to you?
I didn't give it to them.
Oh, okay, but it's right here, it's a sheet that DHCD does, and it comes up with the calculated ED salary schedule, salary. In this case, it's $44,618, if I'm reading it right.
Yep.
Yep. Also included was the ability for Tammy to fund the 4110 with an increase over last year. 4110 is for administrative support staff. What we've done, Tammy felt it was good to have 2 part-time positions versus 1 part-time position or 1, 20-hour person. So that's why we funded that both at $200 a week for those two part-time positions.
So are we funding 10 hours a week each? Or
Each,
40?
yes, each, yes, for a total of 20. The other thing that was allowed this year was a provision that says labor and industry rates. We don't have to fund our labor and industry. Can be funded at a higher figure, but Tammy felt at this point to stay with labor and industries still will be issuing maintenance salary rates effective next April. Right, Tammy? You're right.
Yep.
And we maintained this one position we have, well, the maintenance person as needed also. So not only do we have the 20-hour and the 32-hour, we have a maintenance person as needed. Which I think last year we used them for the vacancy.
Yep.
Vacancy fees. But that will also be in here, is staying in there.
And so we're budgeting that amount, but
9,000, right.
But if for some reason we had more, we can go in.
We could request more. If we
Would we request more from HLC, or would we go into our funding, spend it, and then request reimbursement?
Probably would do both. The reimbursement would come, just as it was last year. Because they're still saying that they're making that available if needed. Yep.
Okay.
Any questions on salaries as we budgeted? Okay. Let's flip on the next page. Couple of the costs that increased substantially we know Boston's given us more money. They say 12% increase, and last year we had like 16% between it. But one of the things that went up substantial is our property insurance. We're budgeting that at $21,500. Our workers' comp is about the same. I don't see anything major happening on that. And our auto insurance, which is for the truck.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that we do have an auto, we know that cost is in there is the retirement fund that we pay to Hampshire County. That is a given. We've already paid that, $26,888. And the other would be our health insurance and non-insurance line item. That's something that I know, Tammy, we can talk about. What it involves is a couple things. Change of our personnel policy. We have employees that are eligible for health insurance. In the past, we've been able to fund it at $1,000, but we've now increased that to $5,000. If the board wants to amend that policy. Tammy, did you have any wordings on that policy that you might want to?
No, didn't get a chance to go through and get the verbiage to put it in the policy.
Okay.
Currently, it's not in the policy.
Okay,
But
So if we amend this, we're increasing that up to $5,000. It doesn't mean it's all going to be spent.
right, but
well,
we have 2 employees that would be
Right.
eligible.
Oh,
that are
I see.
eligible for it that don't cost us anything as
Okay.
far as benefits are concerned because they're covered under other people.
Right.
So it saves the housing authority money by not having to cover them. So this is the kind
The
of
actual
like
payout.
the payout
Right.
to them
Oh,
for
okay.
saving us money.
Okay, so we're paying them out each $2,500 to save us on the healthcare.
No, it could be
It
a
It could be up to
5,000.
5,000.
Okay, up to
Each.
5,000 each.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, so that's a total, that's why we have the 10,000.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
I got it.
Our utilities are roughly just rolled forward, and again, utilities are when we do our final subsidy calculation, it takes actual, so it's just really an estimate. The next page, which is schedule of non-routine, these would be items that we're looking to purchase for the year coming out of operating reserves. 3 things that we've got for extraordinary maintenance is security upgrades or continuation of security. I think Tammy wanted to make sure we kept that in there. Line item for apartment turnover of $15,000. That's again, you to be there if we need it. you know, if we don't have turnover, we don't need it, but if we do, we have a line item for it.
Yep.
As well as the line upgrades. Now that's the one with the 30,000 where we are trying to get funding somewhere else. That has to do with the lines, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And I think Tammy's working on whether they're under warranty or whatnot with the vendors.
Yep.
Right.
I'll explain it after.
Yeah, but obviously we won't be using our operating budget if we end up getting it through a warranty
Right.
issue. And then we were also purchasing a zero-turn lawnmower
Good.
for maintenance. And then additional miscellaneous maintenance equipment as needed. And I think.
Those were, I think those were
Tammy's had-
attachments that we
Yeah,
had
they
for
were-
some of the
those
lawn
are-
equipment.
Attachments for the lawn.
Yep.
Could you just go back to that non-insurance?
Yep.
How long has that been a
We've,
thing?
we've always had it in our policy, but it was only $1,000.
Nobody ever,
Okay,
I just found out about it last year. We paid Tim out.
and that every employee of the state
We're the housing authorities.
just.
Yeah.
If you have other
The
insurance.
state, actually, I believe the state, I believe the state employees have that benefit also.
Yeah.
They get,
Okay. And that's been a thing.
yep. Okay, so of those items, the next step is to look to see, well, where would our reserve be if we spent everything, and that's page 7 of 8. Our operating reserve at the end of last year was 247,687. What we're estimating to take out of reserves based upon these items that we just discussed, which is greater than that, but with 18,730, we would be still at 66% of maximum, which is really good. I mean, I always say that 35 to 70 is that point of
Sweet spot.
Sweet spot. And 66 is going to be at close.
Okay, so let me ask, the monies we got from going to Marin Gold, you know, for
Those certificates?
yeah, did we keep all the monies?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Now,
And
don't
would-
forget some of this.
Did that-
This reserve number includes,
Closes that.
but no, it doesn't
Oh, it
because we
doesn't.
still have it set aside. We were going to supplement the garage. Remember,
Yeah,
that's still sitting in our accounts payable.
so we still have that money.
That's even over
It's,
and above
it's
that.
sort of over here, the authorities don't know anything about it, and we're gonna spend it on a project.
Right.
And we got, what, like $42,000?
I
I
believe
think it's
it's
like 50.
50,
Yeah, it's like about 50.
Yeah.
Oh, I sense a curveball.
So,
That was when, you know, we were going to do the,
The garage.
garage.
It's over here.
It's over here, and so we really didn't have to spend that money, but I didn't want it to go back into reserves.
Good.
Increasing
yeah,
this number.
yeah, and then we get less money. That way we have that extra 50.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh.
And do we have plans to spend that soon?
Yes, we have money through ARPA for the garage also.
Oh, good.
So they
We're gonna
have
use that
started,
to supplement too.
right, they have started the process of it.
Okay.
But it's,
Okay.
we keep hitting snags.
Okay.
And just remember one other thing too is, right, the 30,000 for lines that Tammy will discuss later, right? If we don't have to pay that out, then obviously the reserve will go up to about, I think, around 74%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
But
So
when
it's-
you get hired, don't they give you less money?
Well, that's why we're.
That's why we're hiding.
Right. We're not really hiding it.
I'm
It's there on the
I'm
books.
We're off budget, we're making an off budget.
Right.
Can you black that one out?
Yeah.
Or-
You got that.
Okay.
Um,
Anyway,
But anyways, that's kind of the overall picture. And I would tell you, the picture is good.
if we're
Here
under
we
70%
are.
threshold, yeah.
It, you know, there's been times here, probably 10, 15 years ago when I would come and our budgets were so tight back then. So things have gotten better.
Good.
Till the
Yeah,
state
but everything's
pulls
got
the plug
more-
again.
Well, I mean,
Well-
I don't see that happening at this point. I mean, the good thing is our legislature has been very good in appropriating the funds
Yeah.
to that housing subsidy account.
Oh.
So,
We're fortunate the state powers that be are run by women and they are sensitive to housing issues.
Yeah, well, housing,
Beneficiaries of that.
I mean, hey,
well, housing is huge.
Yeah,
It's
it's getting more huge.
look, I just, got back from Montana again, because my dad's in his final phases. And I was talking to one of his neighbors, and the rich people up there, their whole thing is, we don't, because the locals can't afford anything anymore, because you got all this expensive California money and everything moving up there. And they don't even want to open public buildings when it gets cold for the homeless. Their whole goal is, we don't have a homeless problem. We're just gonna hide them someplace. You know, we're gonna make them go, like, you know.
Hide in the barn.
So
instead of taking care of the-
So instead of like opening up buildings, I know like a lot of cities have that policy,
Yeah.
so it's crazy. But anyway,
But that's that's good news, I would tend to think, in terms of the budget.
Certainly there are 70% cash flow, that's great.
okay, well, it looks good.
So I think you just need to have that motion
Yep.
made and seconded and.
And Joe, I think you just need to sign the ED salary
And the
afterwards,
ED
showing,
salary schedule has-
showing the back.
Got there, yeah.
Okay. Okay, then, I need a motion to approve the budget.
Hereby, submit a motion to approve the budget as presented by the accountant.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Force Gloria's not here.
Yep.
Okay. And
Okay.
do I have to sign anything else before you leave?
Just the salary schedule for you,
Right,
and
which-
everybody else has to sign that page that Tammy
Budget
has,
certificate.
budget certification.
Okay. But none of that has to go back to you.
No,
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 okay.
that all goes in the-
I'll do it electronically.
Okay, guys, good
Okay,
job.
well, thank you, and everything's going well.
Okay, and I'll look for you guys to keep us flush.
We'll try. Yeah.
If any questions come up, let us know.
Okay,
I just don't know, you had to change accounting firms every 10 years.
No, that's the audit.
Oh, okay, the audit.
That's the
'Cause I-
AUP.
Okay, so I knew I read something
Yeah.
about that, and then you said 10 to 15 years ago, and I thought, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, that's the auditors. Because I do a lot of AUPs too. We had to do 5-year, and now what they're doing, they're implementing for the AUP every other year along with the PMR. Now, what I'm doing is I'm still budgeting the audit in the, were we on the,
We're on this year one.
so you still have to get
So
year
I,
one.
so this is,
That's
this
this
is
budget.
this
Yeah.
budget. So I'll be audited.
Next year, you won't have to have the audit.
And we won't budget.
Year
for that.
after. We won't have to budget for it year on year two.
I tried to get them switched because I have both housing authorities in the same year, but she said no.
It was something that was part of the housing bill to allow it every other year, for the AUPs. But Boston is implementing it very quickly because it just came out in the signed housing bill. And so I think there's still some things that need to be ironed out. And, they've already been in contact with us as auditors for input. So we've,
okay, so one last aside question.
yeah,
And that is this public-private partnership about building a lot more affordable housing units. Is that also coming through this organization?
that's
Is it something
something we
separate?
really haven't heard either.
Okay,
I don't know whether it actually initiates additional fundings into Chapter 705 or 667, as we've known it, or whether it's truly all going to be through the nonprofit areas.
Okay.
It's so new. I mean, I guess this housing bill is so
Yeah.
new.
It just approved it a couple of months ago.
I
Exactly.
thought they would say something at conference and they
Right,
didn't.
and because I
They
don't
really
think
didn't.
they've really digested it
No.
all. I tend to think that it's going to be probably put through more the nonprofit side. And I think that's all because of cost-wise.
well, because they're
Do you
looking
think
for
there's any
private money.
timetable for information coming out about that?
I hope it's gonna be soon. But don't forget, the housing bond bill is over a 10-year period.
Yeah.
So this was not it wasn't something.
It could take
that
us,
was just gonna-
it could take us 2 years to nail it down.
Exactly,
Because how long it took us to get marijuana sold after they passed it.
yeah, exactly.
Did I say that? That's a different housing issue.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Talk to you later.
Yep.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Gary. Good.
All right, Tammy, we'll be talking.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, we haven't voted on that yet.
Oh, okay,
So we can just sign everything out there, just go
Okay.
on to the minutes.
okay.
Approving the minutes.
All right, I was late.
So,
So everything's in order, so if you just flip that one over. See this?
Can we just go back to calling it DHCD, so
HLC, yeah.
almost reminds me of that old movie, The Time Machine. It was the Eloys, and it's almost makes me think of Eloys.
Who's the other one?
HLC. I don't know. But anyway,
Warlocks.
Yeah.
but yes, there you go. Okay, any changes? Otherwise, I need a motion to approve in a second.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of August 21st, 2020.
Second,
Any further discussion?
I do have one question.
Yep.
That last sentence, and in the email it said that wasn't going to happen. I just wondered what the attorney did say.
That it's, you, I have that in my director's report.
Okay. Just curious.
It's not, if you were voting on my contract, then it's allowed because competence comes into it, but to just on professional competence, you can't have an executive session.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep,
That's what I thought.
that's exactly what she said.
Exactly. That's what I was.
Yep,
But if we were reviewing your contract,
Right.
we can bring all of that up
right.
at the time of the contract. Okay.
Like before, it was in January, and you did the review and voted, and then it's the vote.
Sorry, I
Okay.
interrupted the vote.
That's okay, so you made a motion to approve?
Yes. And it was second.
I
It was
second.
second, so we're
Okay.
on to the
All
financial.
in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Financial. Well, we got some big balances.
Yes.
What are we gonna have to do about it?
Oh, we're in the process of doing it.
Okay. Then I'm assuming that's something we certainly don't talk.
Yep.
about. Okay. I've been duly chastised.
For the second time.
On the
Hey, it goes with the territory, right? Okay, and again, we're just down because in July we got reimbursement for something, if I recall.
Yeah. It's the beginning of the quarter, so they give us our money.
Right. So if there's no further questions or discussions, I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report, 8 September 24.
You
Second.
mean August
August,
31st?
Yeah,
Yeah. Right.
second.
What, did you get 8 September?
Yeah, that's the date.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
date on the
that- oh, the
top.
print, okay.
I can read the small stuff now.
Okay, I got you. Okay. Okay, and second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Did you read that?
Any
Well, on
further
top of it.
discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay, next is the warrant report. So did they have the fall conference at the Cape again?
Every year.
The same place?
Yep.
Because I went once
Did you go?
forever ago.
I moved it.
Good.
One,
Anything new?
No, not really new, but a bunch of information. So I'll save that for my report.
Okay, good. So on the water and sewer, what were treatments and everything we're doing now? Is this what we can expect every month?
No, so there is a schedule that they have to follow, set up by the DEP. And certain things happen certain months and certain quarters, and that just happened to be what we had to have done for August,
Okay,
so.
so it won't be 2,000 a month?
No, it's normally like 135 a month, both for a place, so it's 2/7.
Okay,
So the shower install 42D, that's not one of those new ones that we just, the state just did.
No, that was a reasonable accommodation.
is that a walk-in shower? now?
Yep.
Okay. Right,
It pretty much costs just a little bit more than a tub cut, and it's just so much better than a tub
wow.
cut.
You just put a whole new, you take out that.
When we do a tub cut, they just literally cut about an 18-inch spot out of a tub.
fiberglass tubs only, you know, yes.
So it's, so it's a little bit more money to just take it out, put a new,
Well,
But it
to
is.
me, that's a bargain.
Probably better in the long.
Yeah.
To me, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
Because frankly, over time, I think all
we're trying.
senior showers should be walk-ins, you know, just. Okay, well, if there's no other questions or whatever, we need a motion to approve the warrant report.
Make the motion to approve the warrant report, 9/1/24 and 9/30/20.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Okay, and the director's report.
All right, so, not a whole lot to talk about. We have no vacancies, yay.
Yay, right.
The, RRSC is still on a personal leave. Can't wait for her to get back. The capital,
When do you expect her?
she has started part-time in Ludlow, so we're hoping that she, gets back to full-time within the month.
She wasn't in the level.
Yeah, but it's closer to her home for what's going on, so it's nothing I want to talk about.
Yeah, nothing.
She was here at the last meeting. I didn't know she was out.
So the capital projects, really nothing, has gone on this month about them. The lines that Gary talked about, the $30,000, I'm gonna let Jim explain what that is to you. He knows.
Well, what's the $30?
So the $30,000 is if the lines for the back things, if the state doesn't, if we can't get them covered.
Okay, for the
That's the number
repairing
you,
of
right,
what needs.
that's the number you told me it would cost.
Okay, Alright, so it's about $1,000 per unit out there. So what Mueller brand, when you have these AC pumps outside, there's a copper line that comes out with the Freon in them. Then there's an insulation that goes over them. Well, the insulation and the copper have a bad deterioration going on when the sun starts bleaching out the insulation. It causes moisture in between, it causes acidity, and then it causes rot. Therefore, the AC lines aren't gonna be working. And this is just on the outside. I took a bunch of it apart. It's just on the outside exposed area that the sun's deteriorated in. So we had Fontaine come in and do one repair on one of the worst ones, because we were hoping it was gonna be under a recall. And I could send that section back, so it needed to be done anyway. But right now, it looks like we ran short on the time-wise on the recall. But they said that we can be encouraged or get somebody on this mass class lawsuit. I don't know if that's something we're doing or not doing, but they want to, basically, the right way of doing it is repairing from the AC unit out back all the way up to the person's head unit in their apartment, which is 60 feet per line, snaking it in the basement, up through walls, again, all this other. So to get by the winter, I'm trying to get a fire going here with repairing what needs to be done outside, because that is, I could show you what's hidden in these line set trunks and it looks brand new. Because it's covered, the insulation didn't deteriorate, the copper didn't deteriorate, everything like that. So it's about a 4 to 6 foot run each unit that has to be done. But when you do this, long story short, you have to hook up a machine, reclaim all the Freon that's in there. You can't just let it go out into the ozone. You have to reclaim it. Then once it's all vacuumed down, you cut that section out, put a new one on. Then you have to charge the line with a certain amount of pressure, and then readdress it in 4 hours. It has to, these are all state codes that has to be followed in order for them to charge these lines with a gas. So right now we're looking at the worst ones, because the way the sun is building 1 and then some of building 2 and 3. So there's approximately 20 plus units that I would like to get done before winter, because if this happens in the winter and people lose heat, then it's gonna be a lot harder to do the Freon charging, reclaiming, everything.
Is this the same thing in the line that you showed me out here?
Yes, yep,
Okay.
yep, and I've got detailed pictures of, you go online on Google and that, and what they're showing isn't as bad as some of our lines. So I'm trying to push and get something done by, unfortunately, it's kind of throwing money out doing the repair that short a distance, but at the same time, it's kind of a necessity.
Okay.
We're trying to get money to not hit our budget
Yeah.
if we don't, but we have that $30,000 in case we do.
But then in the background, EOHLC, as a group of housing authorities, is trying to bring a class action suit against them so that they'll pay for a lot of.
I don't think they're at that step yet,
Oh, they're not?
because I'm fairly new to bring this to a lot of people's lights on
I
the
see.
state level. So,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
So that's that, and then the other thing is we had some issues with the well here this past week, and we're still monitoring it. The guy from Aqua Pumps is supposed to be in at some point this week to look at it. So,
What's wrong?
what's wrong?
So we have 2 pumps, like a primary and a secondary pump, and they kind of switch on and off so one doesn't get burned out. So one starts up the water flow. If there's a heavy water flow, the second one kicks on, and that's why if you're walking by the pump house over there, you hear the loud noise, because it's really pushing a lot of water. So the secondary one is pretty much non-functioning right now, but the first one's got more than enough flow and everything to make this place happen and survive and everything. It's just not best case scenario right now.
So,
So more than likely that pump will have to be replaced, is what he's thinking. So I sent him some pictures, some model numbers, some other things. He's looking into what can be done and availability of it. That when he shows up, he has everything he could possibly need if he gets into tearing something down and whatnot.
so our happy budget, so I'll tell
It was happy.
you. But it was pretty.
Agree.
So that's, really all I have with director's notes. There is some stuff down at the bottom for you. I did sign another agreement with Gary to do our accounting for 2 years. And then the other thing that I wanted to, under policies, is the personnel policy. I'd like to change the hiring procedure. Currently, it states that it should be in 2 newspapers in print. I'd like to use 2 different, it to say in at least 2 different medias, so I can post it online as well as in. We didn't vote on it, so I did. Yes,
We agreed with them.
yes, we just didn't have the policy and the wording and the vote, that's all.
Okay, so where it's highlighted is where the change is.
Where the highlighted is what I would like it to stay at.
To say, okay.
Yeah.
How do we do that? Do we?
Okay, we
Somebody just
vote
needs
on
to make a motion to change the
Motion.
hiring procedures stated in the personnel policy. To include 2 different medias instead of 2 newspapers.
it. I need a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Wait, the pet policy, I'm not ready for today. I apologize for that.
Okay.
And that's all I have. So
We
that
approve-
would be,
We approve the director's report.
oh, you know what? Thank you. We have to approve the director's salary increase.
Oh, okay, let's get back to that. So, and what we're accepting is,
The increase to this,
okay,
so it would be a motion to approve the executive director's salary to $44,618 annually.
I don't know what percent increase.
It's like a 2 point something. Not much.
in the
so this
state.
is basic, yeah, this,
Yeah, so this is it's a worksheet.
and this
And you
is,
plug in the numbers of how many units we have and it tells you how much to pay me.
and this is
That's how
EOHLC.
I
Yeah.
thought it was.
Yeah, it's an EOHLC. You can't
Formula.
modify it, you can't change it.
And then they sign off on final approval.
Right. Right. Once I submit it to them, to Carolina, it will go to the others.
Okay, so does anybody want to make a motion to approve, or are there any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the salary increase.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Do we have to sign it? He said.
He has to sign
Oh,
that,
just Jim.
just Jim.
No, don't they
They have to sign the budget,
I should sign that first also.
because you approved the budget balance.
Okay, that is done, and we have this. And today's date is
30.
9:30. Okay. So Richard will send this later. Okay, so we'll wait till you sign it and then we'll get to your commissions.
So as you can see, I have a couple of sheets printed out. Joe asked me what I'd learned, or Diana asked me what I had learned at the convention. I'll get back to that. Before the convention, Tammy and I went to an Eagle Scout
Honor guard.
honor court, whatever it was,
Yep.
ceremony. And the young man, quite a delightful young man, presented a plaque to Tammy for his Eagle Scout project, which reads Neil John Lindbergh, Troop 306, Granby, Mass., June 2023 to March 2024. Landscaping along patio, entrance signs, and kiosk. Message boards at Granby Housing Authority, Finsdale Manor. Special thanks to Class Grass Garden Center, Bill Johnson and Chick-fil-A, Amherst Farmer Supply, Alex Landscaping, All-Star Dairy, American Legion Post 266. We'd like to present this to you, Joe, as the chairman of the board. And I would ask that it be on the place of honor so that all the residents can see it when they come in the room.
Yes.
Okay.
It was very nice.
It was very nice.
And
He also sent Tammy a thank you card. Dear Miss Bebo and GHA, thank you for coming to my Eagle Scout ceremony and for your generous gift as well as the project opportunity. Neil.
Okay.
And I forgot to mention that my wife also attended the ceremony.
it was very nice.
Okay. So, somebody will decide where it should
Oh,
go.
I thought it should go in here.
Yeah.
You know, Jim will find a good place to hang, or in the
Okay.
hallway,
Great. Okay.
maybe in the hall, maybe in the hallway by the office door.
So Tammy, can you see it?
Yep.
Good, that's
Here, you can pass it around.
very nice.
So,
So, I had the opportunity to go to the annual Narrow Conference at the Cape. It was wonderful weather, and I did learn a lot. Also learned how to get a urinary tract infection, which kind of put a damper
okay,
on
well, let's
enjoying
leave
the
that
beach.
off the tape. Okay.
TMI.
One of the things that we talked about was evaluations.
Mhm.
And a point was brought up that went by me completely until I started thinking about it. I've always thought of evaluations as something that's negative. Doesn't have to be that, it can be positive. So with that in mind, the second page that was stapled together is self-evaluation for the board to do. And I think that would be something that we might want to look into. After you have a chance to read it, I don't know, I just think we need to be on the same page. And this might be a tool to help us get there, or stay there. Also, the front page is board member commandments. And Tammy, I'd like this posted in here somewhere as well, so that the tenants can get an eye, will know.
Mhm.
Oddly enough, there are 10, so that kind of matches the commandments. One other thing I have is public comment. It was drilled into us. Public comment is not a dialogue. And if people would come to the director and say, I want to get on the agenda to speak about something, that can thwart a lot of the minutia that we have to dismiss anyways at one of our meetings. I had heard from many all our board members along the way, that if it's not on the agenda, they don't discuss it, period. And that goes to the public comment as well. And lastly,
Wait, what do they do? They just listen.
yes. Uh-huh. Public comment is simply to listen to the issues that are being brought forth. And the speak policy, we have that. And if we have that, it should be enforced. That's all I have.
So then it's an issue.
Okay, so I'll do one add-on then.
Okay,
Because of open meeting complaint that was received and I was gone, I have written the response, had it approved by the attorney. We just have to sign it, send it back out. But one of the commitments is all of us in the next 90 days are going to redo the open meeting law course online with special emphasis on employment issues for both the executive director and for the employees, to make sure that we don't violate any confidentiality. So as part of that, in the response back to the individual and back to the open meeting law group at the state, as part of the request, I am agreeing to that request and we will all take that course again in the next 90 days.
You
Okay?
say there was a complaint?
Mhm.
We don't know.
Mhm.
I cannot talk about it in an open meeting. We already violated it once.
I see.
So I can't talk about whatever that complaint is, okay? Because we have to maintain that privacy.
There is also a course being offered through Masnarro by Attorney Driscoll, coming up, if anybody wants to take it. It's like a 4-hour seminar.
Online,
On,
and you'll give us details.
I'll send it out to you guys, because I'd have to sign him up for it.
Okay.
and Jeff is good to, I mean, he's entertaining. It's not gonna be boring.
So we just have to be willing to commit 4 hours at a time instead of like what I do.
Right, it's,
I go through a session, review it, take a break, because it is long.
Yeah.
It's an investment in several levels. So,
I'll forward it to everyone, and if you
Okay.
choose to, you want to participate, let me know and I'll sign you.
okay, but
You said we have
everyone,
to, yes.
Well,
everyone in this agreement, it was requested that all of us, because of the kinds of questions that are asked that lead to the violation, all of us it's been a request that all of us retake the open meeting law, before we have to, because we have to take it every 2 years, regardless. So, in the next 90 days, by December 31st,
state,
I want everybody to have taken the course. Okay? Again.
Nice meeting us, but we're not told. This is the part that I'm not understanding.
No, you can be told individually, in private, by her, not in an open meeting, but it's confidential.
Okay.
Because of the topic, okay? So that's why. Can't be told in the meeting. That's where the violation happened. Okay? Okay. So, what is,
that's it, I got,
okay, then I think
Anything
I've
from any
covered
of you?
everything, so,
This training, how long, what do we have to do to participate in that?
I'll forward everything to you on that.
if you'd rather do the instructor, but you can also do self-service where you can go online, you get a password, and since you got elected, there are things that you have to do.
Yeah, we
You
got
have to
signed
do
up for
the
all of that.
ethics course.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did that already, I
Okay.
hope.
Yep.
Okay, okay.
Is it the same password for this? No.
The next meeting would be October 28th
Mm-hmm. Okay. At 3?
at 3 PM. That's good for everybody.
Okay, it should be. Okay, so do we have anybody on the list for public comment today?
I probably wrote my name, but I wrote it in the wrong place. I don't have anything to complain about.
Okay, yep.
Name.
Did you want to speak? If it pertains to what you talked to me earlier on, no, that's got nothing to do with the board. There is nothing.
Okay,
Mary
Oh.
Beth signed on the wrong form.
Is the 28th, what day of the week is that?
That's a Monday.
That's a Monday.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
okay, then if there's nothing else, I need,
Motion to adjourn the meeting?
All right.
Second,
all in favor?
aye.
Okay,
Yeah.